Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to do a couple problems just to kind of see how it works. So again, I'm going to share the screen. We're going to show what happens when you're given a point. Again, I think I've done this in another video, but let's just do it one more time. So now what it says is, let's say I'm given the points -5 and -7. That's my X value, that's my Y value. To figure out my R value, R is equal to the square root of X squared plus Y squared. So what I'm going to do is R is going to equal the square root of -5 squared plus -7 squared. And when I actually go to do that in my calculator, I'm going to get a decimal. So I just want to show you the mean. So we do on, we do second, we do square root. Parentheses are important. You got to do them. -7 squared. Notice it gave me a decimal. I don't want a decimal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to recalculate that thing without the square root sign. That gives me 74. So R is going to equal, in this case, the square root of 74. Y is going to equal -7, and X is going to equal -5. And then the way we do these problems is we do our formulas. So sine is Y over R. So it's going to be -7 over the square root of 74. Cosine is X over R. So it's going to be -5 over the square root of 74. Tangent is Y over X. It's going to be -7 over -5, but a negative and a negative, they kind of cancel each other out. So the answer on that one is going to be 7/5. And then to figure out all of these, remember, they're just inverses. So it's going to be root 74 over -7. It's going to be root 74 over -5, and it's going to be 5/7. So that's how we do those problems. If I'm given the point, I figure out R, and then what I do is I work my way backwards. Okay, hopefully that one helped. That's one type. We did that a couple days ago. What we did yesterday, we talked about a problem like this. And what we found out was quadrant 4, secant theta equals 4 equals 4. Or if you want to think about it, 4 over 1. So in this case, I'm not given a point. What I'm given is one of these functions. And if you look back at the front side, secant is equal to R over X. So what that tells me is this 4 is going to be my R value. This 1 is going to be my X value. Now, the important part is now that I have this, I can actually solve for Y, because I know that this is a triangle. Realistically, this is a triangle in its simplest form. It's going to have a hypotenuse of 4 and a side of 1. So what I can do is I can now use that Pythagorean theorem kind of backwards to figure out my Y. So what I can do is I can say, X is 1 squared plus Y squared equals 4 squared. Okay. And what I can do is now Y squared equals 4 squared minus 1 squared. So Y squared is going to equal 15. So that means Y is going to equal that square root of 15. Now here's the deal. The reason we're given the quadrant is because it tells us the sign of our X and Y. So if you remember your quadrants, positive, positive, negative, positive, negative, negative, positive, negative. So in quadrant 4, my X's are positive, so that X is +1, the Y is negative. So what that tells me is my X is going to be a +1, my Y is going to be a negative square root of 15, my R is going to be a 4. So now I can go through and fill in the blanks. So again, filling in the blanks. This is Y over R, so it's -√15 over R. Cosine is going to be X over R, so 1 over 4. Tangent is Y over X, so it's going to be -√15 over 1. Cosecant is just flipping it, so it's going to be 4 over the negative square root of 15. We've got secant 4 given. Cotangent is going to be 1 over this negative square root of 15. So again, the quadrants are going to tell you the signs. So again, if you think about quadrant 2, this tells me in this problem, my X's are going to be negative, my Y's are going to be positive. If I'm in quadrant 3, it tells me my X's are negative and my Y's are negative. And if I'm in quadrant 1, it tells me my X's are positive and my Y's are positive. So Those are the type of problems we did. So again, I wanted to kind of show you a problem and how you work that. Again, I'm going to pause and I'm going to do one last video that will kind of go over that last piece that we talked about in class.